Welcome to Knife Thoughts. This video is going to be on this knife, and this is the RoseCraft Hatchie River Jack. And so this is a new knife from RoseCraft, and it's one that I was interested in checking out because it is based on the Lanny's clip pattern. And so if you're not familiar with the Lanny's clip pattern, it is actually a newer pattern in the grand scheme of traditional knife patterns, but it is one that is kind of really well liked and especially seems to be made by custom or high-end knife makers more than some other patterns. And so what it is it's a pattern that was created by Tony Bose for a friend named Lanny, and it's basically kind of a really chunkified a chunky single blade trapper type design. So you've got this curved handle here, similar to some other trappers. It's early and I am struggling with speaking. Similar to some other trappers, but quite a bit kind of thicker, taller here. And then you have a clip point blade, and this is kind of RoseCraft's take on the clip point. It's similar to some of their other clip points in that it has this kind of straight clip area, so it doesn't have the swoop that kind of a lot of other Lanny's clip knives do have. So it kind of retains the design language of RoseCraft blades, which of course I think is a good thing, you know, kind of differentiates it from other Lanny's clips. Now this has the 14C28 end steel, hopefully you can see that, as well as the edge. It's got the maker mark or designer mark of Andy Armstrong, and then you've got RoseCraft actually stamped into the blade there, into the tang. So if you're familiar with RoseCraft knives, you know that they are made really nicely and a really good value for the price. And this knife is about $65, something like that, $60 to $65. So, you know, it's relatively inexpensive. It is, you know, made overseas, it's made in China, but it's, you know, a relatively inexpensive knife compared to a lot of other options out there. And in spite of that, they are made super well. So you can see the pins here are really nicely done, nice and flush, no cracks. Then the back spring, again, really nicely done. It has no blade play. It is pretty well centered. It is a little bit off to the show side here. The shield is also fitted really nicely. Now this one has a pretty strong pull. I would call this a moving towards an 8 in my opinion, 7 to 8. So you do have to get a good pull on it, but a lot of people really like that. And being that it has a stop pin, you don't have to worry about it having blade wrap. And so I think that that's a nice thing, especially with a knife with a heavier pull like that. So you can go ahead and let it really slam itself shut without any worries. Now this is the light green micarta version. There's also a tan version, and this one I think green looks good. You can see some of the kind of striations in the micarta. Now there are some voids, some areas where, you know, kind of either pulled out or there are voids in the micarta. I'm not super sure how well you'll be able to see that. It's something that doesn't bother me, but I think that it is like a big deal for some people. So just be aware, at least mine here does have some of that. Now, when you hold a Lanny's clip, it feels really good in the hand. That's one of the nice things about the design, in my opinion, is that you get this kind of rounded area here in the center of your palm or the heel of your palm, and then the curve of the handle lets you get a good grip on it. And this, you know, I can get a full 4-finger grip on this knife. I have relatively wide hands, so, you know, you could really do some cutting with this. And I've used this some here since getting it, and like other RoseCraft knives, it is it comes sharp. It is nicely ground, although not super slicey like something like a Jack Wolf knives. But of course these two are in very different price ranges. So, you know, it definitely will cut well. It's not maybe going to be the most laser cutting knife out there, but it will cut well. So I wanted to give you a comparison to this interpretation of a Lanny's clip. This is the Benny's clip. So this is the Jack Wolf knives take on a Lanny's clip. And you can see it's a much different blade shape. Apparently I left some, I think that was probably Renaissance wax, but very different blade shape. So whereas the Benny's clip, the Jack Wolf Knives version, has almost an exaggerated, or I guess it is exaggerated, upward curve to the clip, and really abrupt belly. It's kind of the opposite here on the Hatchie River Jack. It has more of that really straight clip and a gradual belly. So just kind of a design difference, but otherwise similar in their shapes, in their footprint. And then I wanted to show you just real quick a comparison to another RoseCraft knife. So this is the Beaver Creek Barlow, if I'm remembering correctly. Again, my brain is not working at full capacity here yet this morning, but really nice little Barlow. And you can see that the Hatchie River is bigger, so it's longer and wider. Now, of course, this one's stag, so it's pretty thick, but the Hatchie River Jack is a bigger knife, so something to be aware of. It is not a small knife. It certainly isn't difficult to carry, but it is not on the small end of slip joints. But I think it's a really cool knife. I'm glad to see, I'm a Barlow fan and collector at heart, but I always like to see kind of different takes on the Lanny's clip and on Stockman knives. Of course, RoseCraft hasn't really done a Stockman to my knowledge yet, so I'll be interested when they do that. Same goes for Jack Wolf Knives, but I was interested to see this take on the Lanny's clip, because I think it is a cool pattern and there's a reason that it has become so popular. So this is the Hatchie River Jack. I want to say thanks to Andy at RoseCraft for sending this knife along for me to check out. If you decide to get one of these, you can always use my link and code for traditional pocket knives to get a little discount and help out the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell and select all so you know when I post new videos. Check out my website, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives like this and knife-related topics. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.